Hey, you guys, this is Courtney Camaro. I'm outside of Muhammad Ali's real original home. We're in Chicago, and I wanted to shout out Al's Botanics and Herbs. Man, when I tell you, I am one of those people that has insomnia. I can't sleep. I can't focus on some days because I'm so sleep deprived, and this has helped. This is one of the mixtures he has that helps with sleep.
Purchase the Millionaire Savings Plan, available on Amazon.com and BrokeGeniuses.com. Learn how to break the paycheck to paycheck cycle, get out of debt, save more money, achieve your financial goals, and live a better life. What's going on? We're gonna be playing some chess eventually. I'm the one that started this shit off. Everybody started copying me and not giving me no kudos, but I started playing this chess shit. I ain't the one started it, but I'm the one that made it famous. Yeah. So we're gonna be playing some chess, and you know what I'm saying, we're gonna eventually get to that. But I do this primarily just so I can kind of get some things off my chest. Sometimes I'll be like, damn, what do I want to talk about? So I talk about some stuff, and then I play a little chess. Hopefully I won't be embarrassing myself today. And I'll get a couple wins in, maybe hopefully get some perfects, but we'll see. So, first thing on the docket is that I wanted to talk about is the whole okay boomer thing, right? The whole, boomers versus everybody else thing, right? The whole meme okay boomer. The boomers, right? And I'm gonna be playing a video that I basically watched, I think a couple mornings ago, like I think yesterday or something like that. And I wanted to talk about it and go over this video where it talks about the whole boomer thing, the whole like boomers are to blame thing. So that's the first thing that I thought of. And my thoughts as far as boomers is, I don't know, like, I really never really thought about blaming an entire generation, you know what I'm saying, for problems and shit. I don't know. Like, I never really thought about that like that. I don't know. Like it's when I think about like, okay, who can I blame? Right? And I think about who can I blame, and the first thing I could say is that I can't necessarily blame too many people or an entire generation, definitely, but my damn self. Because I look at things, this is how I look at things. If I'm out, in the life trying to fight to survive, and if I didn't choose to bring, let's just say choose to bring, if I chose to not bring a weapon to a fight, well, I'm gonna be out, weaponed. I'm gonna be outgunned or whatever. That's my mistake. I can't blame anybody else for my mistakes. If I got bad advice, people are gonna give you bad advice every day. One of the things I have to say, even my own parents, my parents were I would say boom. My mother definitely was a boomer. I'd have to look at the generations. Let me look at the generations because I don't even think my dad was a boomer. My dad was way older than my mother. You know, my dad was like in his 70s when he passed away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my dad is from the silent generation. I just pretty much kind of zeroed in on that just now. Yeah, my dad is not even a boomer. You know, my dad was was born in the silent generation. Yeah, my dad was really old. Well, not really old, but he was older than my mother. My mother was definitely a boomer. Um, I'm pretty much a Gen X, but yeah, my dad was a silent generation, um, which is kind of strange now that I think about it. Because see, here's the thing. Here's the fucked up reality about this, right? Now I'm looking at this shit, right? My dad was in the same generation as my fucking grandparents. That is weird. I didn't really think about that shit, man. Wow. Uh yeah, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, my dad was actually in the same generation as my damn grandparents. Yeah, my grandparents was born in the 30s. My mom was born in the 50s. Damn. I knew my dad was old though. Definitely knew my dad was old. What's going on, Iori? Iori probably sitting on $500,000 at this point, if not already a millionaire. uh, yeah, man. This is the generations right here. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so my dad wouldn't even be in this part of the conversation. But this is a financial channel. This is pretty much a financial channel. We gotta talk about money. We ain't just talking about no goddamn. Well, the whole boomer conversation is a financial conversation as well. It goes political as well, but yeah, we definitely got to talk about the money. You know what I'm saying? Can't talk about just generations and not talk about the bread that is involved in the conversation. So I'm going to definitely uh, yeah, I'm definitely gonna post up as far as like who's the richest as far as in the generation. So let me find that information. That's one of the good things, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like if you got a page or whatever, that's the one good thing about having a page, because you could basically basically get all your data, um, kind of have a place to store articles, so you don't have to. I mean, some people use like notepads and all kind of other stuff, but one of the things I like about having pages is I can save uh, web links and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So let me see here. This is definitely a Forbes document, and it's talking about basically the different generations. So let's see here. If not, I know I can find it on Forbes. It's probably one of their hits as far as articles. So let me go to Forbes and see if I can find that document. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find that thing here. And I did my last video where I talked about where I talked about the types of people in the financial world. Um, I'm gonna be drilling down into that, you know, and all of this is basically in conjunction with probably my next book. Um, I'm definitely probably going to write more books. Definitely gonna probably have a relationship book or a book about relationships and dating and mating in America and all of that type of stuff. That's gonna be something that I'll probably write eventually. Oh, let's see here. So yeah, we're gonna talk about this whole boomer, this boomer thing or whatever. Definitely gonna talk about that. Uh, as I find this article. I know I posted it on my page, but um, oh, actually, it wasn't. I don't even think it probably wasn't on Forbes. Yeah, this is. I think it was something else. Like this is. Okay, no, this is something different. Okay, this is. I'll keep that open because that's good there. Uh, but I think I found the site. I found the site that has the data that I was looking for. So that's good. So I'm pretty close as far as things is concerned. Pretty close finding what I was looking for. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, the Visual Capitalist is a very good website. Very very good website. Very underrated website. Um, has a lot of data. This is like they're good at putting everything's into data format and like kind of like slides and stuff like that. Okay, so I think I found. I mean, this is not really what I was really looking for, but it is close to it. So I'm gonna share this one here. We're gonna talk about this one. We're gonna talk about this one here. So this is Visual Capitalist ranking U.S. generations on their power and influence over society. Okay, which U.S. generations wields the most power? Okay, so they're saying baby boomers control 53% of U.S. wealth. 53% of US wealth is controlled by the baby boomers. Okay. And the boomers are born from 1946 to 1964. Okay. So over half of US wealth is controlled by the baby boomers. That's why the whole movement of okay boomer, you know, okay boomer thing, right? So that's where that comes from. They have half of U.S. Wealth. Okay, but here's the thing, though. They are old. Okay, they're very old. They're not old as the silent generation, but they're old. Okay, they're dying out. Okay, I would imagine most people, their parents, if they're in their 50s, if not even 40s, and their parents are early boomers, which would be 1946. They were born a little bit after World War II. That's why they call boomers, because basically the GIs came back from World War II and they got with their girlfriends back, or wives back home, and basically started a family or or basically like came home to their family that they already created, and their family grew. It was a huge housing growth. It was a huge, like, basically financial push, because these GIs came back home. They had the money from surviving the war. They had paychecks. They started back working in the factories and different places in the world. I mean, in the country. They started to feed the economy. They started to buy cars. It was just a massive boom. I think they say like the boom, the post World War II boom is one of the greatest financial booms that has happened. Even in like amongst entire lifetime of people going back, I guess 50 years or more, the baby boomer um economic boom was the greatest like ever. I mean, like that's why they call boomers. So having that wealth, they're old. They're very old, and they're dying, and they're leaving their inheritance, if they have any, to their millennial, Gen X, or even Generation Z children. So, with that said, basically, some people are not getting an inheritance, right? Right? Like my mother, she was not financially together after she passed away. So my mother basically, she died with nothing, hardly at all. But like, I mean, literally nothing. And that's partly why I remember, I remember that. Even my dad died as well with nothing, like as far as any like wealth, as far as money or anything like that. both of my parents died poor. So the thing is that have me kind of feel some type of way about that. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I still feel some type of way about that. Like that that makes me kind of feel bad. I ain't gonna lie, like it does make me feel bad because it's like, I didn't get a chance to get financially together to really, really help my parents like I wanted to. You know, really didn't they really didn't see even my children. Uh, it's just like, yeah, man, that put a bad taste in my mouth. And that bad taste basically has me kind of helps me in a way because I am a little bit cold hearted when it comes to capital. As far as this capitalistic system, that's another ounce of fuck you that that I inherited because I know absolutely what I learned from my parents is being social, having friends, having a good time, even helping out your friends and stuff like that and other people. It results to absolutely fucking nothing when you need help, when you're down on your luck. It results to absolutely nothing. So basically kind of focusing on yourself, your you know wherewithal, and helping somebody out with twos and fews is fine, but the whole give the shirt off your back type shit, hell no. Fuck no. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna lie, like I that really I'll never not think about that. I'll never forget that shit. That is literally what partially pushes me and drives me to not give too much as an ounces of fuck about, bullshit. Because I know absolutely, like, yeah, I mean, they had a lot of friends and stuff that mourned them in their funeral or went to their funeral and all of that. And they, you know, had a lot of people that cared about them, I think. But at the end of the day, we all are the sums of our own actions. And unfortunately, nobody is, you know, entitled to give you any type of reciprocation just based off of you giving them something. They don't feel like they have to do anything for you, even if you need the help. I mean that is the cold, harsh truth of the world, but it needs to be said, and a reminder to you that that's how that goes. You know that is literally what happened. You know, so yeah. As I digress back to this, boomers own nearly 75%, three-fourths of S&P 500 companies are led by baby boomers. Okay, so 75% Fortune 500 companies, Walmart, um, Walgreens, Target, you know, all you got to do is look up the Fortune 500. Nearly 75% of those are led by boomers. Now, here's the thing, like, even where I work, like, the management, basically people that are leads and managers are boomers. It's like when you work a job, most of the upper management and stuff like that are old people because it's kind of like a cultural thing. Um, Older people tend to be in a higher position. It tends to work out because they know more, you know. Um, Usually, sometimes that doesn't always fit the narrative or the case. But they are typically in management or upper management positions because they old as fuck. They've been around. They've been around a long time. I mean, Of course, they most of the cases work for the company for a long time, so they know the ins and outs of the company, of the job. So yeah, that I see that in my job as well. I mean they're older. I don't know. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like my manager, like my actual, like the manager of the whole team. I don't know how old he is. He seems like he could be my age or even younger. I never really asked him his age, but that's kind of like a you know kind of a gray area in working. And for other people and shit. Age is like kind of like a thing you don't ask about. You better off talking about politics and asking somebody's age. Baby boomers hold a majority of positions in federal and state governments. Thus, again, old motherfuckers know typically what to do. The cultural dynamic going back thousands of years. Older people are wiser. They're the elders. They lead the direction of the movements of the company. Of the country. Now, here's the thing. This is where people start throwing eggs, tomatoes, all kind of shit because, it's all kind of problems, right? If the old fuckers are running the government and it's the government is, the people are complaining about what? Government, right? I really don't talk about politics. And I've done videos a long time ago that, the reason why I don't really talk about politics much is because, in my opinion, politics are for people that have more of a higher tax bracket, and people that actually have time to kind of do certain things. Because see, here's the thing, in my opinion, in order to really, really seriously engage in politics, such as you're going to go talk to your senator, going to go visit your senator, and if you didn't know, like your senator has a couple offices. He has a local office, and then he has an office in Congress or the Senate for your representative. They have an office in the capital, DC, and if you really got the bread, you can really go to Washington and ask to go see your senator, and you will know your senator as a first name basis, and you can call him, you can go see him anytime you want, and then you can also speak on the House floor, I believe, or the Senate floor. You can, as your constitutional right, you can speak in both the House and the Senate. If I'm wrong, you government constitutional cats can say it in the chat, or it's a live video in the comment section if I'm wrong. But you can speak and state your cases on the House floor and the Senate floor. So the last time I checked. So right now, baby boomers are America's most wealthy and influential generation. They have 38.6% of the wealth of this country. Okay. That is deserving of a fucking bomb drop.
Can I get to the dance? Sweet dance.
That's a baby boomer right there. So that's what I was thinking. I'm like, God, dog. I need to, you know what I'm saying? Baby boomers, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, my Stedman, I got some Stedman vibes when I read that. I got I got some I got some Stedman vibes when I read that, man. Huh. Yes, sir. I got some Stedman vibes when I read that. Definitely got some Stedman vibes when I read that. And if you're from Chicago, you already know the story of Stedman and Oprah. You know, you already know. You heard the rumors. Shout out to cousin T Top.
Can I get to the news? Sweet jams.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah. Yeah, 38%, 38.6% of you, right? Or round down. Well, if you round up, it's 39% of the fucking wealth of this country. I can see why the whole okay boomer thing is a big deal. I can absolutely see why the whole okay boomer is a fucking big deal, man. Okay, they got damn near, 40%, almost half of the wealth of the country. It already says that. That was the first thing I read. They control 53% of the wealth. So, everybody doesn't want to be a gigolo. I understand that. You know, everybody doesn't want to be a gigolo. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't sling dick for money. And I'm partial to that as well. I wouldn't I don't necessarily want to I don't want to have to sling dingaling to boomer chicks to get money, but they got a lot of fucking money, man. You know? They got a lot of coins, man. They've been working for a long time. I talked to my my one of my family members that I'm looking. Yeah, like I mean, you could even say boom. Like a lot of the sugar daddies, obviously, are boomers, right? You know, a lot, a lot of your so yeah, a lot of your sugar daddies are definitely boomers. Definitely boomers, man.
Message.
Can I get to the news? Sweet jams.
So yeah, that is a fact. That is definitely a fact. But this goes into my other future topic that I'm going to be talking about. That's why I dropped the poll. Who's better at money management, men or women? See, here's the thing when it comes to women, right? Men don't have a problem paying for box, right? Women have a problem paying for, pee. They just do. Like they think that no matter what age they get, they only want to get it for free. They think that, they should get sex for free, right? Because I'm such an awesome chick and, I should get it for free. Women do not pay for sex like men do at all. Absolutely not. The most you can get out of a woman, and which is some will say the world. I mean, it's speculative. you can get her most valuable possession, which is her womb. Well, obviously, baby boomers don't really have left of a womb at this point, other than the miracles of science. Okay, Gen X are going that route as well. They're definitely aging out. Um, Women don't pay for sex like that. They have a problem, and even when they really, really like, meet some guy that is really, really awesome. Once again, shout out to Cousin Tito. Okay, he's a YouTuber. If you look up Ron Wills, you'll see his that's like one of his sidekicks. He's a ex model or ex male exotic dancer. Okay, so he knows more about this than anybody, just about, right. Um, women will pay for exotic dancers, the whole sip and sip parties, sip and paint. Um, there only a small percentage of men that are male exotic dancers. Okay, it's not like it's a line of men, because these are all thoughts that I have as far as the whole, are women better at managing money than men, or who's better at it. Well, the thing is that it's only a small, minute amount of men that are selling pee and are exotic dancers. It's not like women. Like women, in no comparison as far as being strippers, escorts, in the sex industry and stuff like that, OnlyFans chicks, whatever. By a landslide, it's more women that are in that world of things as far as selling sex, right? In every facet you can think of, right? Then there are men on the opposite end of that, being sellers of sex. And here's the also thing: it's only so many women that are even willing to pay men for sex, right? It's only, a certain, probably minutia of women that are willing to pay men to actively be in their sexual orbit, right? Because I mean, typically, who has it easier to get sex, women or men? Women, hands down. Women can, like, if you see sexually frustrated women, it's the fucking most tripped out thing you can ever observe, because all the women got to do is just go to a bar with a Fashion Nova outfit, and she can, pretty much, she can get it right in the bathroom if she wanted. That's how easy it is. The opposite end of that, and then she could be a below average female as far as looks. The man on that scale of things cannot. It'll be damn near, I'm not gonna say impossible, but very, very difficult. The degree of difficulty will be very, very extreme for that to be. And especially with the quality woman, it would have to be somebody that looks like they eat bowls and bowls of cottage cheese every day, and fried chicken wings. If you get my drift. So it just kind of begs the question, as far as like, also women also scale up when they look for partners. So men don't care about scaling up when they're trying to seek out a mate. We just want someone that is the hottest we can possibly get, or the coolest, or the best in bed, or the most helpful, the most respectable, if you got any sense, because that typically works out well if you got a woman that respects you. Because respect is actually, the older I'm getting, the more I'm getting to understand that, respect is a male's is love for males. Men love respect more than actual love. Because it's like, I mean, I remember, you know what I'm saying, like, just to kind of, piggyback on my marriage or failed marriage or whatever, let's just call it what it is. I don't like to tippy toe around realities. This is also black pill channel as well. The reality is reality. It is what it is. Okay. Um, that's also helpful financially if you think in reality, because you can make certain moves that will help you rather than hurt you. If you live in fantasy land and dreamland and pretend land, it equates to your financial portfolio. It literally puts you in a bad state if you're um, not being real with yourself and um, your spending. Okay, so the thing is that when it comes down to it, women don't like to date down, right? The whole "I don't want a dusty" movement, right? I don't want a broke guy, right? Movement. It's typically what they want. I mean, they end up getting with those guys. Those guys are their guys that they call on at middle of the night or actively engaged with at any given time. But they say publicly that they don't want those guys. And the reason why is they ultimately want to scale upwards. If they make $50,000 a year, they want their spouse to be making $100,000 a year. And a lot of times that's how women actually come up. They actively are steadfast with that, and a lot of them are very, very serious with that. And what happens is, this is what happens typically. You got the ex CEO of Amazon, uh, Jeff Bezos, ex wife. She becomes one of the world's richest women in the world by just proxy of just helping out the former CEO of Amazon, Jeff Bezos. She becomes rich overnight. She goes to the top. She's the top G on the Forbes list by proxy of divorce. This is what happens. And she gave away most of the, well, not most of it, but she gave quite a bit of money away. You know what I'm saying? That's what she did with her money. She gave a lot of it away. You know. But the thing is that's what typically women do. They scale up. So in mating and dating, they do well financially with those decisions. Not all women are actually scaling up. Don't believe that shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't. It's not like all women are fucking scaling up. That's not how that works. Only, I mean, for every one woman that is scaled up successfully, there's about 1,000 or 100,000 that have failed in that regard. Because a lot of times, women are groomed to be like that. A woman that's not groomed to be like that, she'll fuck up her scale, because she'll start arguing with her husband, and he'll leave her, or they are not even husband and wife. They're, girlfriend and boyfriend, and then, basically, they don't make it to that point because they can't stand each other because they arguing, fussing, and fighting because she doesn't know how to shut the fuck up and sit down. Shutting the fuck up and sitting down is a skill, you know, and that skill usually results into a cohesive relationship. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the thing is that when it comes down to it, back to the boomers, yeah, they have quite a bit of wealth. Okay, so we're gonna drill down more onto this, and then just to put everything in a nutshell, silent generation has 12.8% of the wealth. 76 and older. Baby boomers are between the ages of 57 and 75. Gen X are coming up behind them at 30% of the wealth, 41 to 56. Now, this article is old, of course. This is from 2021. So, that 41 is a 42, okay, in 2023, actually 43, 42 to 56. But millennials are 14.5%. And I have to say, as far as the internet per se, the people that are complaining the most from what I hear are the millennials. Because as you can see, 14.5% of the actual wealth of the country, which is almost the least, under Gen Z has the least. The millennials and the Gen Z are probably the most vocal about the whole OK Boomer movement. Because I mean, the Gen X are definitely complaining as well. I definitely hear Gen Xers complaining, but here's the thing: this is kind of goes into the slice of why they are possibly complaining. The people that are complaining the most, I definitely would have to say, people that are in the trenches. Okay, people that are not financially free. These are the people that are really, really vocal and complaining about the baby boomers. Because see, here's the thing from a person that is very, very much striving to be financially free. The thing is that one of the things I know about being financially free, having a house that's paid for, only really having to worry about taxes and utilities, and of course getting back and forth to work and getting back and forth to make your money, pretty much, right? Having, tomorrow I have to go take my car, get work done, whatever, because need some work, right? So the thing is that I don't even have a car payment. See, the thing is that if I had a mortgage, if I had a car payment, it would be more of a struggle than, if I have the current situation I have, which I don't have those payments, thankfully. The people that are trying to basically live their life, people, what people ultimately want to do is they want to live their life uninterrupted. It's certain people that they feel as though they are supposed to have certain things. The supposed, you can call them the supposed to people. The supposed to people, they feel as though they need to have things, and feelings are not financial. It is not a financial decision to be feeling your way. Like finances is not feeling your way through. It's either the math is mathing or the math ain't mathing. It's not I feel. I feel I'm supposed to have it. You either have it or you don't. Your feelings ain't got nothing to do with what you think you supposed to have. So here's the thing here. So let me show this real quick.
Nays never stop. Now, if Karen isn't online, you got to be a was very women. There's a no, they can't be acting
So
$1,000. I guess she just kept bidding and she didn't pay attention. She didn't put a cap on her bid.
this chick bought $100,000 couch. I don't know if this is made up or whatever, but seems pretty good. If it's good, if it was acting, it was pretty good. But this happens every day. People get emotional, they buy stuff. Women get emotional, they buy stuff, and after the purchase, it comes crying. People every day get evicted. It's a massive eviction problem going on in this country right now. And all the decisions that you make, I'm gonna buy a Birkin bag, I'm gonna go to Miami, I'm going to all these, what you gonna do, all of these like Instagram, pop-ups and you in Cancun and all this other stuff results into purchases. All of these clothes, all of these expensive nights out on the town, all of these are a financial balance sheet, a personal financial balance sheet. And when you spend it more than what you actually have, it results in you not having the money to pay for things like rent.
Bid. She was the winner. The couch, $100,000. And now she's crying. Kanene needs you to pay for that furniture.
I just put an offer on the couch. And I was joking by putting my card information. And it just charged my account. Y'all, I'm about to start an OnlyFans, not because I want to, because I need to. My issue is I can afford an IKEA couch, but I don't want it. I want something nice. I deserve something nice. And you know what? My bank account doesn't agree with me. So
So these are the things that you learn, pretty much when you get older. I want nice shit, but my bank account don't care about my feelings. My bank accounts don't sync with my emotional clock or my emotional calendar. Fuck your feelings, boo boo.
Message.
you know what? I'm about to sell my
Milkers.
I'm hot. I'm pretty. I'm cool. I'm smart. I should get what I want in this world.
How you think I feel? That's exactly what she just said. Let me rewind that.
I'm about to sell my
Milkers.
I'm hot. I'm pretty. I'm cool. I'm smart. I should get what I want in this world.
Okay, the whole smart thing in itself. I mean, I'm definitely a handsome man. I get looks, here and there, but I'm smarter than a lot of motherfuckers. I know I am, but it don't equate to no fucking automatic riches. I can't go to the bank like, hey, I can't go up and JP Morgan Chase. I ain't gonna say I can't, but most likely it's not gonna realistically happen. I mean, but I can't just go up in JP Morgan Chase and be like, hey, I'm smart than a motherfucker. This is all of what I did in life. You know, give me $100,000 loan. That ain't gonna happen. The world don't work like that. And even just damn, I mean, I think about this a lot as far as like I used to think about it. I'm thinking about it a lot less. As far as like, damn, all these other dumb motherfuckers got so much fucking money. God damn, what the fuck? I mean, I used to think about that and dwell on it somewhat, but I stopped doing it. And the reason why I stopped doing it was basically because it's a wasted thought. One, two, I know what I'm doing wrong and I can correct it. And I'm working on, what I'm saying, correcting that shit. I'm on here talking to you, trying to, kind of like, kind of talk about my realities to help you with your realities. If maybe you're struggling, I don't know. Everybody on the internet is a millionaire, I guess. I don't know, but last time I checked, according to the stats, it is not the case by a landslide. But the thing is that I stopped thinking about, I'm smart and I'm supposed to have this because I'm smart. No, you know what I do? I watch my own videos a lot of times because sometimes I might forget things and whatnot. And some people might not watch their own videos, but I definitely do. And then I also, write down certain ideas and stuff like that. And I occasionally, a lot of times, come back to them. And the reason why I come back to them is because, they're very good thoughts. Some of the times I'm doing things that I was trying to do years before, and I'm just starting to do it because I have the money now, and it's the right time now. I've cleared some things out now. I'm working on stuff, man, years in the making a lot of times, and then also it's just a thing where I just don't think about that shit because it's like at the end of the day, my advice that I give out is very, very good advice. The content, as far as like even the things that I create, I just created some software, very, very good software, and it's on my Broke Geniuses page on Facebook. And I know it's very, very good software. Am I getting a gang of sales? No, I'm not. I understand how things work. It takes sometimes money to make money. I know that from business. Marketing, advertising, even getting with certain people that have money. Because see, here's the thing. I don't know if I've said it. I'm pretty sure I did say it, but I might have not said it on my last video. One of the reasons why I kind of came up with the idea as far as, the different types of people in finances, it was kind of a marketing move to help me figure out who to sell to, basically. One of the things about people in the trenches is that they spending money. Yeah, people in the trenches are spending money. People right now are out spending money, no doubt. Popping bottles and spending this and going out to eat and shit like that. But what I find out is that also people in the trenches, they really don't have a lot of money because they're broke. they in survival mode because you could get just used to being in survival mode by just spending too much. That's why you gotta control your emotions. Controlling your emotions is very key to controlling your emotions. I mean, your money and your spending habits. If you don't have control of your emotions and control of your, sanity, you know, you just go spend money on anything because it's just that's how it is. And unfortunately, this is a lot of people. This is millions and millions and millions of people. It's not just one or two people. It's just like a whole bunch of people. People are out kicking it right now. They're going to watch this video probably Sunday, Saturday, or Monday when they get back to work. And they're going to realize, damn, this motherfucker, he got that been dropping bombs. He cooking. Because the thing is that those pending transactions are going to post. All them pending, okay, stop here, get this, get that, get that, get this, get that. That shit all posts on between Monday and Tuesday. All those pending transactions. And the reason why, like I said, I was thinking about all of these different types of people is, like I said, marketing. Because when I think of sales, who to sell to, trench people don't really. They're so in a survival mode. They only need it at when it's something that they really really know that they need, and they just go buy it. Yeah, I mean it's a lot of people that buy stuff. But the people that have the money to invest in my case right now, software, is people that have financial freedom and higher elites, such as the commanders and higher. Those are the people that could write me a check for $1 million for my software and just buy it all the way out. Most of my friends are trench people. I like when you got something for sale or you got services for sale, the best thing you could do is go and advertise on basically either social media, not just your friends, actually pay a budget, put a budget aside to actually advertise on Google and Facebook and Instagram. Come up with some type of video, actually spend some time to actually create the video, and basically come up with a good advertisement for your particular services or products, because your friends might just be like my friends or worse, in the trenches, struggling, faking on Facebook, and they ain't got no money, and probably low key waiting for you to goddamn it fall off so they can laugh to the friends that talk about you from behind your back. So it's like even your own family member for that case. It's a cold world. But the thing is yeah, a lot of people are in the trenches. They ain't got no money to buy your shit. Cause they do, but they ain't trying to buy your stuff. They want to buy what everybody else is buying. And your product might not be that particular item that everybody else is buying yet. They follow other people, And if your item is the one that everybody's buying, yeah, they're gonna buy it, unless they hate your guts. And then they're gonna try to talk about your shit, probably try to low-key hate on it. But yeah, people buying what everybody else is buying. So your product or service might not be that particular product. I understand that. You gotta, what I'm saying, reach out to the people that actually are financially free and higher, so you can, basically get a different side of perspective. They actually do have some money. They do have, at least $10,000 to invest. The commanders, they have multi-millions of dollars to invest, if not more. You know, they can actually buy you out. Okay, here's the deal. We like this software or this particular product you have. We want to, what's your buyout? You know, what is your bottom offer? You need to get your lawyers together because we want to just buy this out. We see a future in this product. Um, Obviously we have the means to purchase it. What's your buyout price? I understand all of this shit. I know my products and services are excellent. I mean, I ain't gonna say all of my startups are excellent. The products that I know, the startups that I know is excellent. My computer business, my herbs business, both of those bona fide have a potential. My handyman services, home services has the potential, I believe, as well. Definitely my blog. My blog is definitely, believe it has some potential, but it's just kind of more of my hobby. My blogs and stuff is, this actual channel is more of my hobby. But I absolutely know the value of my herbs. Why I know the value of my herbs business is valuable? Everybody getting sick but me. I don't get, what I'm saying? And this is another thing. I don't, I like I said, my parents is gone. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. I mean, if you making decisions and you lose your property, guess what? If I ain't got the money to buy that shit, somebody else does. They waiting to buy it. Your car that you can't purchase, they waiting to buy that shit. And unfortunately, when you dead and gone, unfortunately, people waiting for your goddamn body parts.
Message.
I scare people away. This shit too real. I'm the realest financial channel you probably ever gonna fucking see. I'm gonna tell you shit your mama and your daddy and your grandparents didn't tell you. Probably, did tell, I know my grandparents used to tell me, my grandfather used to tell me all the time, it'd be a car for a dead boy. That's what he used to say. It'd be a car for a dead boy. You do that, you do what you want to do. It'd be a car for a dead motherfucking boy. Cause he been to so many goddamn funerals, it had people die every day. So let me play this more. You know what I'm saying? Let's play this.
But no, I gotta have enough money to pay for it. Well, I don't want to do a job. I never wanted to do a job. I am not passionate about working. I'm passionate about being comfortable and not doing it. And that's why I'm here, because I tried to do it and now I don't have no money to buy the things I want.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like in a perfect world, in a perfect, Epicurean world, because basically what she's talking about is Epicurus. Okay. Epicurus is he was an egotistical hedonist. Okay. Okay, this goes back to he was a philosopher. Okay. Let's go back to here. He was basically an egotistical hedonist. Okay. Going back to like the days of Aristotle and Plato and all of that, and the Greek Republic, right? So let's open up Wikipedia. Let's go into this here. This is Epicurus, ancient Greek philosopher and sage who founded Epicureanism. Okay, what is Epicureanism? Or what is, what was he about? Okay, uh, every person wants to feel good and, all the time as much as possible. That's true. It's a human trait. It's also a weakness as well, because what if you're going to battle? Your other opponents, oh, look at these motherfuckers. They just getting high all day and feeling good every fucking day and having a good time. Let's attack. Ah! It only happened thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Yeah, let's go attack these weak, feel-good motherfuckers all the day. And then take their hoes. And then we, make some babies with them and then take over everything that they had a feel good time with. It only did actually happen, by the way, too. But the thing is Epicureanism is actually, this is what Epicureanism is. Let's get out of fucking Wikipedia. And let's go into this one here. It's a hedonistic lifestyle, basically. Based off of Epicure. It's not people it's an innate, human urge or want, right? But a lot of people don't know even about Epicurus. I'm highly educated, right? Highly studied. I know a fucking Epicurean. I've actually, I was going to school for a long time for sociology, which is humanities, which I had to write papers on a lot of these, twerps that basically, if they were alive today, they would be under the jail, because some of the hedonistic ideologies is to have sex with little boys, and all the other stuff that goes with that. But the thing about Epicureanism is basically a lifestyle of luxury, high comfort, and having most of your needs met with minimal work and pain, basically. And a lot of people are like that. A lot of people are, definitely, more of an Epicurus. This is why I did the post. I did a post today. I did a short today, and I was like, basically, about the whole Popeyes running. Some chick ran into Popeyes, and she complained because she didn't get her choke biscuits. Popeye choke biscuits. They call them choke biscuits because if you don't get no salt, that strawberry drink with them, or that drink, you're gonna choke on them damn biscuits because they kind of hard. But the thing is that when it comes down to it, I said all you got to do is be intelligent and be willing to work, and you can just go where the sky's the limit. Okay. Now here's the thing. I'm an ex-felon. Okay, unfortunately. But one of the things that I know about some people that are willing to put the work in, you can basically outwork everybody else. And if you can just work. You ain't gotta be smart, really, to be honest. Just be willing to fucking work, and you can get the job. You can get overtime. You can make the money. But if you smart and you willing to work, king. You would be the king of your own castle. Because I know people that ain't felons and ain't got shit. Got nothing. Because they not doing the work. And they definitely not doing things intelligently. They doing dumb shit. And then when you get older and you get older and you steady was doing dumb shit, yeah, you ain't got shit when you get older. I'm gonna tell you something. Ain't nothing like a bitter old motherfucker that ain't got shit, boy. I'm telling you, man. You want to stay clear as much as possible if you can from an old fucker that ain't got shit. Because, I'm gonna go back to this chart with the OK boomers, situation. But we listen to this. She looks like she's a Generation Z influencer that is crying about a couch. I think this is cap, but it's very, very interesting. I must proceed.
Okay.
There are some reports that this girl was just acting and crying for the camera. Now, what she's not acting about is she has set up an OnlyFans account, and she's trying to show her tears and please go on because I gotta buy this couch. I need your help.
Okay, I'll say this. Even like I said before, it's very good acting at the very, very least. And the reason why people resonated with it, that went absolutely bonkers as far as it's being viral, is that is a lot of fucking people that do shit like that. And definitely a lot of women that relate to her saga, fake or not, because they do that shit. And here's the thing, I probably didn't even finish this. One of the most valuable things that women do for men is give their womb up and make a baby for a guy that, basically, that's their way of giving money, giving the most money or whatever, basically making a baby. And a lot of times they feel unappreciated. And that's where the whole bitter baby mama stuff comes in. Because they're like, man, I done gave you the fucking world. I done gave you an extension of life, and you treat me like this and you don't do this for me and all of that other shit. And and to a certain degree, some people would definitely, if you ask most people, how much do you value your children? They're invaluable, right? So the thing is that that's the way a lot of times where women kind of give money or value, right? That's their most value, is their womb, their ability to give child, right? And the thing is that when it comes down to it, a lot of times that does go sideways. That does make women, a lot of single mothers are in poverty. It's this stats wise, I believe that over 30% of single mothers are in poverty. Last stat that I saw, that I posted on my community channel, posted on my Facebook page. So it's not like all of women make very good financial decisions. Okay. So the whole, do women versus men do better with money management? I have to do some research on this, and I definitely will make a video about it. But I'm thinking about, like, is it true or not? I mean, it's a lot of pros and it's a lot of cons as far as what women do and what men do, and I definitely have to do my research. But it's not like all women do excellent things when it comes to money. All of these breast implants, the fake nails, the fake eyelashes, the fake asses. Those things cost money, and they're absolutely a waste of money. If a nigga don't like himself, what he do? He get a car with some rims on it. If he don't like how he look, what cats do? They just got there to be stuck, stuck and ugly. They go that get some clothes, some cologne, and a car. That's about it. Women go get BBL this and fake this, and that shit, man, is an absolute waste of money. And how many women that do that on a daily, weekly basis? Fly out to the DR and Colombia and Brazil to get the Brazilian butt lift. That all of these things come to mind when I think about money management, and I have to really, really seriously think about all of this shit.
Message.
So, yeah, that was probably a Generation Z, like I said, influencer from that last video. But the thing is that the most people that are vocal about the okay boomers, I definitely will have to say millennials and below. Gen X, I hear a few people come to mind that talked about the boomers, but definitely hands down, I've heard more millennials talk about boomers, and you can obviously see why they are talking about boomers, because they have almost the least amount of wealth other than the silent generation, because the silent generation are damn near dead. Let me scroll this up a little bit. I mean, 76 and over is out of there. Most of the silent generation are dying every fucking day. Like, they're the most that are dying out. So they're, as far as the statistic, it's not too many of them alive. And then also when you get older, your wealth diminishes because you got to take this pill and that pill. You got to go to the doctor every week, and you got to go do this, and you got to pay for this, and you got to pay for a lot of your health care because you're older. And especially if you didn't take care of yourself, you got to do a lot of health care, and a lot of even, you need help. You need, like, you can't, you know what I'm saying? Most 80-year-olds can't fucking clean out their gutters. And then if they try, they fucking goddamn it break a whole hip trying to get on a ladder to clean their gutters. So they absolutely are actively trying to look for help for almost everything, including self-care. Like a home healthcare aid. So they need a lot of care. So a lot of their money goes towards long-term, care. You know what I'm saying? Because they older. Even boomers are fucking getting that. The older boomers, they getting home healthcare aids and stuff like that, and definitely paying a lot of money for medication. My mom used to take all kind of pills, and I think that led to her early demise, because all those pills are not necessary. I mean, those pills are not like long-term solutions. I'll just have to say,
Message.
But yeah, as this further reads, baby boomers currently have the most power, but even the youngest boomers are close to retirement, with millions leaving the workforce each year. Which generation will fill the void? Well, obviously it'll be the Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. That is going to be what fill the voids. Now, this got further information. Let's see what it's talking about. So it says, to measure power, we've considered a variety of factors. that fell under three main categories: economic power, political power, and cultural power. Okay. And they're saying by generation, um, you know, overall power, baby boomers have a lot of the generational power, you know, and it's kind of like statistically, the kind of the same as far as what they're saying about the wealth. Okay. Okay. So when it comes to political power, this is somewhat interesting. Um, Baby boomers have 47% of the political power, 29% Gen X, 10% millennials, 1.6 Gen Z, 12.1 silent generation. In voter distribution, baby boomers predominantly are the voting distribution block, then Gen X, then millennials, and then Gen Z. Local positions, 2% silent generation, uh, 39% baby boomers, 46% millennials. That's interesting. 14% that would be Gen Z. So Gen Z is on the heels, but primarily because these local positions, the boomers are retiring. So all of city council and all of that, they're going, pretty much retiring. State positions, they the boomers have 68% of that. 3% is silent generation. 24% is Gen X. 4% is Gen Z. Federal positions, 7% silent generation, 59% baby boomers, 32% Gen X, 3% Gen Z. Political spending, silent generation are spending quite a bit because they old. They already kind of have one foot in the grave, one foot out. They're spending the money that they have um, towards politics, political office holders, and or people that are running for office. 39% of baby boomers are doing political spending, and 18% of Gen X, and 5% of um, millennials. The Gen Z is not even calculated uh, as far as their spending. You know, so this goes into cultural power. Okay, I'm gonna put this into the comment section here if you want to read this article. Okay, so this is a very, very good article. Okay, I'm going to watch a video when I come back. I'm going to get a charger, and I'll be right back. Purchase the Millionaire Savings Plan, available on Amazon.com and BrokeGeniuses.com. Learn how to break the paycheck to paycheck cycle, get out of debt, save more money, achieve your financial goals, and live a better life. this is a lot of good aggregated data that is very, very important when it comes to a lot of things, marketing, demographics, and stuff like that. This is very, very good information. I'm going to read further. Um, I'm going to watch a video that goes a little bit in depth when it comes to the whole OK Boomer thing. And let me watch a funny video that actually I was playing in the background that is kind of hilarious a little bit. And before we segue into the other video that I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to play a little chess. Okay. All right. Let's pause this. All right. Let's play this here.
Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer, yeah, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer, yeah, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer, yeah, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer, yeah.
That's a little funny, little snicky snick, little snickles. But you know what, man? It's like, it's kind of hard to, we taught to respect our elders. Whatever they say is gold, even if it's wrong. You gotta listen to what they say, right? My take on it is, here's the thing. Like I said, my parents is gone. I'm a staunch capitalist, hardcore, kind of, I ain't gonna say I'm a hardcore capitalist, but I'm definitely a realist when it comes to things. And my thing is, if you ain't paying me, you ain't actively supporting me financially, I don't give a fuck what you saying, really. I'll listen to it. But if you're not actively supporting me financially, paying, like, involved into my financial success, I don't really give a fuck. Like, you can't, I'm not gonna listen 100% verbatim to what you say. Like, I'm gonna listen to your advice, but I mean, like, you should actively do that. I'm like, hey, if you wanna finance my decisions, I'm okay with that. I'm good for a certain dollar amount. I'll pay you back. But if you ain't giving me no money, I'm gonna get down how I know how to get down. I'm not listening to what you got to say, because you ain't got no money involved, invested. You ain't got no decisions as far as what I do and what I shouldn't do. It's based off of how much money I actively have and my budget. So I mean, that's how I operate with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that, yeah, that's my whole thing with it. But yeah, let me play this video, and we gonna close this on out, and I'm gonna play me some chess, and hopefully I can win, because I've been up since 6:00 in the morning. Actually, even before that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. So let's see here. I gotta go to my history and see what video this is here. This is an economic channel from Australia. This guy's an Australian economist. So his perspective, his accent is of basically Australian. But he talks about New York too. You know what I'm saying? He not New York, United States as well. So let me see if I can find this guy here, because I think I'm subscribed to him, so it was a recent video, definitely. So let me see if I can find this one here. And I would love to hear what you got to say. What do you think about this whole generation thing? What do you think about the boomers? Have the boomers helped you or hurt you? you know, I've heard a lot of things about the boomers, like, that they trashed the economy, they trashed the country, they spent so much that they brought us in debt. I mean, those things you have to consider. You would have to drill down and figure it out. Is this true or not? They do have most of the power, right? They, if that is the case, then are they 100% to blame? Because you also got the silent generation. The silent generation is still there. But the thing is that another discussion is where is that money gonna go? Who gonna get that money? They pass away. A lot of people that are getting that money, they're quiet. I got a friend of mine. His daddy died, and he got some money, and he was quiet than a motherfucker. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, the people that getting the money, they quiet. The people that ain't got the money, they got a whole bunch of shit to say about the okay boomers. The people that are getting all that bread. All these like rich Gen Xers and stuff, the crypto millionaires and shit. They ain't probably saying that shit that much about the boomers. They probably sit around discussions about it, but they ain't really got much to say about the boomers because they're actively financially successful. When people are financially successful, they really ain't got a lot to say. If you notice, two people. I'm gonna tell you two people that are the most quiet when it comes to like women complaining about men. Women that look really, really good above a 6, and they actively can get men and have successful relationships with men, they got the least to say about relationships. And when it comes to money, obviously men that have done well have the least to say about it. The men that have the least to say about, the most to say about it, don't have a lot of money. Obviously, are complaining. And it's like the old guys are supposed to give me some money so I can fuck these bitches, and I can take my girl out on a date and simp on her and get a nice wedding for her and impress her and buy a house and a car so I can impress my gal. Those are the motherfuckers complaining. All right. In my opinion, to be a little street about it, a ghetto or whatever. In my humble opinion, those are the people that I see complaining. All right. So we gonna watch this here. Let me pause this here. This music in the background. And we're gonna play this. And we're going to react to this here.
It grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in. A Greek proverb from a time well before the problems of our modern economies or the study of economics itself is as true today as it was thousands of years ago. But do we really live by this idea? For the first time since the Industrial Revolution, successive generations are not becoming wealthier than their parents. While there have certainly been setbacks and historical outliers from this trend, it has remained true in aggregate for the populations of most developed economies. For a long time, it was simply the expectation that people's children would have a better lifestyle in their adulthood than they did. But today, that really is no longer the expectation. In fact, most young professionals can only aspire to live the lifestyles that their parents did. Younger generations are finding it harder and harder to get reliable jobs, afford comfortable homes, start a family, and save for retirement. This is despite the fact that the world is a much richer place today than it was at any point in the 20th century when baby boomers were busy building their now unassailable fortunes. So, what is going on here? How is it that a world that is richer overall, producing generations that are poorer than the ones that preceded them? Is there some underlying cause to this? If there is there some way to reverse it? And if there isn't, does that mean that we can only expect every generation going forward to be poorer than the one that came before it from now on? Oh, and I suppose it's probably also worth asking, does this even matter? Since everyone is eventually going to die and pass down their wealth anyway. Here's a question for you all. Is it better to be born into a large cohort with lots of people the same age as you, or a small cohort with not a lot of people the same age as you? Traditional economic theory would suggest that a small cohort is preferable. It means less competition for jobs, housing, social programs, spots in good schools, and on a macro level, less competition for things as basic as natural resources. But how then do you explain the baby boomers, which despite being part of the largest population explosion ever, are in aggregate very wealthy? Well, Lord David Willetts, a British politician, demographer, and author, suggests that the opposite may be true, and that in a democratic system, being part of a larger cohort is actually preferable because it gives that group more voting power on generational issues and more sway in marketplaces. When the boomers were young, they voted for policies that benefited them. Low cost or free higher education, family support systems, and strong social welfare. When they got to the peaks of their careers, their voting patterns changed again, and now this large block of voters was in favour of lower income taxes, less business regulation, more domestic industry protections to avoid outsourcing and global competition, and on a smaller scale, things like zoning laws which would protect the value of their homes. The push towards suburbs with mandated single-family building requirements meant that houses got bigger and good locations got more desirable because only so many family homes could be built there. In the 50s, houses were basically a commodity. The majority of the expense was in building the structure itself, and it wasn't unreasonable for the family cars to cost more than the family home. Fast forward 50 years and those houses are now investments as much as they are places to live. In old age, the boomers have now started voting to support retirement benefits, pension schemes, medical infrastructure, and to remove wealth taxes, even if that comes at the expense of all the schemes that serve them well in their young age. Of course, David Willetts' work focused specifically on the UK, and yes, I know there are certainly people that vote for the greater good rather than their narrow self-interest, but on average it is easy to see this trend throughout the past half-century in most advanced economies. In my own home of Australia, for example, the 2019 federal election was more or less decided by a policy decision that would reduce the tax effectiveness of Australian retirement accounts. The party that advocated for keeping the favourable tax structure ended up winning, primarily thanks to older Australian voters. We recently just had another election where that opposition party backed down on their plan to change retirement account taxes, and they won, very convincingly. A 2017 British election study found that over time, votes for Conservative parties have shifted from being divided by rich and working class to being divided by young and old. A lot of what I have discussed so far came directly from Willetts' book, The Pinch, and a lecture he ran at the Royal Institution. It's definitely worth a read if you are interested in these demographic processes. Now, a lifetime of favourable government policy can be hugely beneficial to building wealth. Imagine how much better off the average millennial would be if they got free college or secondary schooling. Even all other things being equal, this would be the difference that a lot of young people need to be able to put a deposit on a house. And that's the next big issue to consider, the housing divide.
Being a part of the community at the Chicago School means that you're willing to take note of the things that are going on outside of the four walls.
David Willetts' small cohort theory probably omits, or at least doesn't emphasise, one important detail that gave baby boomers another advantage over successive generations. And no, it's not simply that they were able to buy houses when they were cheap, certainly that didn't hurt, but it's more a symptom of a bigger issue. they were a big cohort in a small world. They had all of the voting power and hardly any of the competition. In the 1950s and 1960s, the global population was roughly a third of what it is today. And not to start a whole thing here, but if you were a white man in the countries that we are mostly focusing on,
See, he's basically nicely saying that it's the immigrants that's to blame, not the boomers, the immigrants. He's just saying it in a subtle, nice way. Here's my take on that as far as like competition. It's not, and shout out to, man. I give credit where credit is due. Sergeant Willie Pete, he talking about this on his channel. I think Sergeant is a millennial. It's not just the whole white nationalist talking point, the immigrants, the immigrants, the immigrants. Unfortunately, it's not just the immigrants. And I'm not biased here because I'm the son of an immigrant or whatever. Definitely my daddy didn't compete like that. My dad was a cab driver, anecdotally, a cab driver for most of my life. He was helping people get them forth to work and wherever the hell they were going well before Uber. Uber came in, he got older and sicker, but, and he did Uber a little bit. He didn't like it. I'm impartial. I kind of liked it, but not really, because I really wasn't making that much money in anything I was doing. So anything that made me a little money, I was damn near a fan about. But the thing is that, he didn't take any wealth from anybody coming in here. Not saying that it ain't no immigrants that come in here and do exceptionally well and open stores and businesses and become millionaires, if not billionaires, like what's the dude, Shah Khan in Jacksonville that owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, the thing is that for every one of those, it's just one person like my dad, like a Mexican that was a janitor for most of his career. They're not taking no fucking wealth. They're not bringing no competition over here. For every one Shah Khan, it's about 100,000 dads like mine and janitors and garbage men and shit like that. They're not fucking competing to no wealth. They're fucking filling jobs. If anything, they ain't competing with my dad was never a millionaire as far as I know of. I think the most my dad probably had was maybe tens of thousands of dollars, maybe $100,000. I don't even know, but he definitely was not no Uber. My dad, because he was very, very religious, like he saw, like he picked up a few people that they had a suitcase full of money, and he called the cab company and got in touch with whoever was the driver of the who was ever the passenger, and he returned the money. I'm talking about, this was the 80s. People were selling dope and the whole briefcase with money, and you get a whole bunch of coke. It was going down. 1980s Miami Vice. Like my dad, man, found a couple briefcases full of money, or bags full of money, and he basically reported it to his cab company to get it returned to the passenger, or find the passenger, or whatever, or call the police, or whatever the fuck he did. If I would have found the shit, I would have goddamn it balled out of control. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? That's just me. But my dad was, he was a stickler about that, because he, if you go into certain countries, you get your head chopped off for taking things that don't belong to you. But the thing is that I say all of that to say, for every one Shah Khan or Iori that uncle or cousin or whatever that starts a gas station and become a millionaire. It's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of regular Joe immigrants that basically are just average everyday workers and definitely not competing, because who the fuck wants to be a fucking cab driver or a fucking janitor? Hello? Anybody home? The immigrants are competing thing, that shit is fucking you can pull that on someone that's shallow, definitely not the broke genius or NBA genius or never broke again genius, whatever the fuck you want to call me. You can't pull that shit on me, because and definitely Sergeant Willie P broke that shit down really well. I mean, basically, in short, you have basically an oligarch and plutocratic system of, let me go back to I got all of the charts right here. You know what I'm saying? That's why I pay for this shit. You know what I'm saying? I got all kind of charts. You know what I'm saying? I got charts for days. So let's go here. Let's see, where is my charts at? Yeah. The top 1% of the US holds 38.3% of the wealth. The top 1% wealth, just good old-fashioned wealth distribution is the competition. It's basically, in short, to make it general for layman's terms, a whole bunch of monkeys in a banana field. Well, if out of 100 monkeys, you have 38 monkeys that have most of the banana field, or actually, 1% of, one monkey, or let's just say, out of 100 monkeys, 10 of the monkeys have damn near 39% of the banana trees. Okay, and they're hoarding them fuckers. They have all of the damn near all half of the banana trees. Then the next 4%, so combined 5%, have another 27%. Okay, damn near over half of the banana trees. So now, pretty much you only have let's say 10%. Really, to be honest, it's just 5 fucking monkeys. To be honest, 5 monkeys that have over 50% of the banana trees and the bananas in them. Okay, and pretty much the next 15%, which is 15 out of 100, they have 75% of the fucking bananas in the banana trees. And then the next 20, which is 20, has another fucking 80% of the fucking bananas in the banana trees. So that's 80% of the fucking banana trees. Okay. And then the bottom 60% holds 3.1% of the wealth of the banana trees. So basically, where is left of the 30%, or let's just say, 40 of the monkeys, they are fucking scrapping and clawing for crumbs of bananas or residue of bananas, banana resin, right? Because everybody else got the bananas and the banana trees. That's literally what's going on. Like, the fucking wealth distribution is way out of whack. Let me get another chart. Let me get a motherfucking another chart to help you out, because see, this is very convenient. Always blame the immigrants. That shit is dead in the fucking water. I mean, this is embarrassing. Fucking embarrassing to be an economist and come with some type of white nationalist racist narrative that the immigrants are to fucking blame. You got to be smarter than that. Here's another chart for your for your educational purposes. Since we want to blame the immigrants and not the wealthiest elite in this country, that or the wealthy to blame anybody, will definitely be the elites. You always gonna blame the elites in every fucking facet of life. You know, the elites are always pretty much the first people that are to blame because they have most of the fucking wealth. So it's not the fucking immigrants. The immigrants are coming over to cut the grass of the wealthy elite because they got large estates that need grass cut. They need janitors to run their corporate offices and so on and so forth. I mean, what the fuck? I gotta educate little broke old me, gotta educate you bums. You motherfuckers got all this money and, you know, all, you know what I'm saying, like well-renounced channels, and little old broke me gotta educate you what's really going on. That is fucking sad. Here's another chart here. So this is the wealth distribution in the United States in 2003. Okay, it's old as fuck, but it'll do. This is married households headed by a 60 to 69-year-old. The wealth share of the top 1% is 25.8. The wealth share of the top 5% is 50.7%. The wealth share of the top 10% is 62.9%. Okay. Future inheritance. 16.2% are getting an inheritance. 83.8% are not getting an inheritance. The inheritance by persons of net worth. Bottom 50%. Let's start from the top. Top 1%, 17.4 are getting an inheritance. Top 5% of the wealthiest individuals, 15.2 are getting an inheritance. Top 10%, 12.8 are getting an inheritance. Top 20%, 11.4 are getting an inheritance. Bottom 50%, only 6.8% of people are getting an inheritance. This has not changed much since 2003. I can go back even later and it still will be fucking accurate. I mean, this is the fucking blame, if you want to blame anybody. The fucking elite, the wealthy. They are, if anything, to blame because basically, it's not even them. It's the policies and laws and governance in this country that make it for where the elite are holding their money, getting bailouts, and remaining elite, getting crunched, getting corporate welfare, and basically those are the stats that nobody, I guess, wants to talk about or has the cojones to talk about. And those are the more of the blame. The fact that you have people arguing over $15 a fucking hour, wages and shit like that, and not wanting to actually pay more in taxes and stuff like that, so people can actually fucking have a place to sleep and not sleep on the street. Those are the fuckers to blame. Like, you can't even fucking have a place to piss. This is like a third world country in regards to like fucking having a bathroom outside. You go walk down downtown Chicago and next thing you know, you smell a lot of piss everywhere because motherfuckers don't even have a place to live and help having a fucking place where a motherfucking at least live on a bunk bed, or even in the military. Even when I was in the Navy, we slept in what we call coffins, where you could just slide under the bed. It was a bed that was like stacked on top of each other in threes, and it was designed to conserve space. And it was so low that you couldn't even get in the bed. You had to slide in the bed like a coffin and then slide out the bed like a coffin. I mean, like, just having housing is like literally a problem in the richest fucking country in the entire globe. I mean, I'm talking about housing, a fucking wall, a cube. I mean, a motherfucking cube. You can't even have shit. You can have what? It don't even matter. You can. This country builds all kind of advanced technology. You can build a fucking a house or a building and have bunk beds stacked up to like 10 high. And then you just gotta climb. A bunch of broke motherfuckers that ain't got no place to live can climb up the fucking the bunk bed and go to sleep. Because like, I mean, it's 10 of them, and you can have a whole hall you know, pretty much filled with bunk beds and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like 10 high. Like you can have like easily 100 fucking bunk beds in one room. I mean, it's like they can do it, but they don't want to fucking do it because it's, you know, they want this shit to be fucking hard. They want motherfuckers to be broke and having a hard time living because it's competitive. That's the competitive shit. Like you can get $10 trillion in bailouts, corporate bailouts, but a motherfucker can't even have the basic human right of having a place to sleep at night. It's hard to have a place to sleep at night. You can eat anytime. Food is plentiful, but you can't have a place to fucking sleep at night. That's a luxury in the United States of America. In a lot of places in the world, it's a luxury. They don't have that, but you can argue the other countries don't have the money like that. The United States is the wealthiest country in the entire globe. I know. I've seen with my own eyes. I've seen things that other people will probably never see. They have a lot of fucking money. Okay? So it ain't like they ain't got the money to do it. They don't want to do it because they want motherfuckers to not have the adequate housing and everything like that. Because here's the thing, the wealthy also don't like the poor. The wealthy hate the fucking poor. Like you have some wealthy that are actually class racist. Like they actually want the poor to just die, just go die somewhere. Like it's not even about racial stuff like that. Of course they don't like black people. White elites definitely don't like black people. The most outspoken people that speak out against black people are the elite wealthy in this country, and they absolutely don't want black people to have any place to sleep at night. And also they actively make situations hard for black people by Wells Fargo is going through federal litigation as we speak, because they were not giving out loans to black people that qualified. This shit is, you can just say, basically, I don't want to talk about that. But to just nullify it and pull it under the rug is propaganda at this point. Like, because you don't have the goal. I think this guy is more intelligent that he actually knows what's going on. But the whole let's just slide the nationalistic agenda, blame the immigrants. I mean, you got to be more intelligent than that. You got to be, bro. You can't be that dumb that you actually don't see the overall rich, gorilla with all of the monkeys that's dancing around and all the monkey trees and all the bananas, where everybody else is, like I said, scrapping for banana resin, in my analogy about the banana fields. So, I mean, come on, man. Yeah, I know I'm very, very smart, but I'm not that smart. Come on. Nah.
Your competition was even less severe. So this added back all of the apparent trade-offs that we thought of earlier. There really was less competition for basically everything, including jobs, because employers had a smaller pool of labor to choose from. Labour force participation amongst women was very low, which further reduced the supply and hence the bargaining power of workers. But it also meant that domestic duties were normally taken care of, which reduced household expenditures on things like childcare, food, and general maintenance. These higher relative incomes combined with lower outgoings meant that houses could often be paid.
Okay, you went from let's blame the immigrants to women work. Okay, I give you the whole women competition thing. Okay, yeah, I can go with that a little bit. You got some meat on the bone with that. Okay, the immigrants is a dead F. You turn that paper in, you got a F on that part. The women participation, okay, but I mean that obviously that's due to changes in basically social norms. Because a social norm is like, for example, in the case of this very issue, is women typically were housewives more decades ago, almost a half a century ago, you could say. Women were primarily more housewives. They stayed at home, they reared the kids. Not all of them. A lot of the poor women, the families could not afford for the woman, just like today, which is more common, right? Women could not afford to stay at home and be housewives. So the poor did not have that regard where they could just be fucking housewives. If they did, it's even cases where, I've heard from from other channels like Green Gorilla, even though he goes crazy and ballistic and I'm not gonna go into that, but the thing is that you had situations where, like in North Carolina, the black housewives were staying at home in the early 1900s, and the white populace complained and made a law to where women had to work, and they could not stay home, but it was for black women because they wanted more domestic house sitters and nannies, cooks, and maids and stuff like that, because they wanted to go to work, and they needed the black housewives to do the work while the women worked. So yeah, I mean, the thing is that primarily being a housewife was more a social norm half a century ago to now, where women are primarily head of households, if not expected to be head of households, if not be independent to go out and work. One I noticed is some of the Gen Zs are starting to complain about that, and so it's very moderately. The whole TikToks, I've seen TikToks where women complain about the whole feminism, great job, whole thing, great job. I had it made. All I had to do was sit in the house, and then I got everything taken care of. But nah, you want me to go and work and shit like that. It's a very small portion of women that are actually making their voice and complaining about that and not liking it and saying it's like kind of a bad deal. But yeah, I mean, the social norm is basically women to compete in the workplace. So like I said, definitely meat on the bone. Let me continue.
Paid off with as little as 1 year's income. Yes, they did have to endure higher interest rates, especially in the 70s and 80s, which were their peak home buying decades. But it didn't really make the difference it would today. The median home in the USA in 1985 was $82,000. That's median, so 50% of homes, like the ones first home buyers would be looking at, would be cheaper than this, but let's keep it simple and stick with $82,000. Adjusted for median household incomes, that $82,000 becomes $103,000. The average mortgage rate at this time was 15%, or roughly $15,000 per year. It did get higher in certain years, but most borrowers were fixed in at an absolute max of about 15%. So that's the worst case scenario. The median home today costs $430,000, and the average interest rate is just over 5%, or $21,500 per year, just in interest payments. Again, this is adjusted for median incomes at the time, so on the surface, these seem pretty comparable. Maybe the younger generations shouldn't be complaining about unaffordable housing after all. A lot of people brush away this comparison by saying that inflation at this time was...
I mean, pretty much the housing crisis is the stickler of the complaints as far as the OK Boomer meme. Pretty much the housing divide is an issue because, before the pandemic, housing prices were a lot lower, but they spiked after 2008. But now housing prices are still high. Mortgage interest rates are higher. It is definitely a lot of people that are living with their parents. Generation X on down are living with their parents. It's very, very much an issue in a brunt of complaints because you can't afford to pay for that $200,000-$300,000 house. That mortgage is too high. People are not making. Everybody's not making over $75,000 a year. It's people are definitely not making $100,000 a year. Everybody's not making that. You have even people. Okay, here, I was thinking about this today in the cafeteria. You have people that work these jobs, working in the cafeteria, working in Starbucks, working in a convenience store, working at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Walmart, Walgreens, what have you. These are particularly low-wage jobs. Somebody has to work at these jobs. Finding workers is still an issue for a lot of companies. They talk about recession and everything, but it's still a problem finding low-wage workers. People are not signing up to be a low-wage worker. I'm sorry. I mean, people are trying to run away from that. Like, you're better off doing Uber, doing even DoorDash in some cases, than fucking working as a low-wage worker. So these see, here's the thing. This is where my intellect kind of spreads the light. Like I'm pretty much probably is smart. I'm most likely is smarter than this guy. But the thing is that the gig economy they don't talk about this. The gig economy is $1 trillion economy. They're competing actively with the regular economy. I just came out of the gig economy. Literally last year, most of my income was from the gig economy. I mean, facts. Like, I worked literally for different what you would consider gig jobs. And I made most of my money off of gig jobs. And I just recently as this year and later part of that last year, worked back a traditional W-2 regular job. You know what I'm saying? So I was scrapping for years, you know what I'm saying, as a gig worker. And I was doing all right. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying, like too happy about the whole tax thing, but I was pretty much gig working for quite a few years. And it's a lot of people out there that are doing gig works that are driving Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Uber Eats, doing combinations of both, or if not more, Instacart, Shipped, and other different gigs. There's so many of them. It is growing and it's getting bigger and bigger. And a lot of people are actually even working and doing gig work. They're working a traditional, probably low-wage job, which would be considered Walmart or whatever. And then when they get off of work, they're fucking picking people up with Uber. It's a guy at my job does Lyft. With his job in Lyft, he's making over $100,000 a year. just doing both of those. So, I mean, the thing is that it's people that's all they do is gig work because they like the flexibility. They can work whenever they want to. So they have the option that they can watch their children, their young children that's not school age. They can, live the life that they want to live just by doing gig work, by having a flexible schedule, not having no boss looking over their shoulder and shit, watching to see if they done some work for the day or whatever they're doing for the day, if they left early or whatever. You know what they do with these jobs. Come on, man. They don't have that problem working gig works. And they're making more than they would even working a regular job as working at Walgreens, because you got some people that they do some, not all gig workers are the same. You got some people that are good at it, and then some people that just really kind of haven't hacked at it and haven't figured it out. You know what I'm saying? You got some people that are doing gig work that's making over 50 grand a year, and they're making probably 2 or 3 times as much as what somebody would make working at Taco Bell. Why these people are having problems finding workers. They have competition now. The competition is this gig economy that they cannot keep up with. They can't pay the amount of money that these gig economy workers are making. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't done DoorDash in a minute, but I'm gonna tell you what happens in the field when you do DoorDash. Typically, what happens when you do DoorDash, when you go pick up the food, the people that are working behind the counters give you the most attitude. They give you more attitude than the people that are coming in to buy the stuff, because they absolutely know that little fucking 10-minute order that you about to pick up and drop off is what they make an hour.
Message.
They absolutely can't stand that shit. It's like class warfare. Like, you go pick up an order that's $15. It might take you 3 minutes to drop that joint off. You done made what they have to make a whole hour for. You know what I'm saying? In 3 minutes. Hadouken! And that is why people are having problems finding basically workers. Like I say, everybody ain't able to do gig work properly. You gotta have, if you're doing the driving part, you definitely need a car that can withstand that, and the budget to do them car repairs. But you got people that's doing it in there, enjoying doing it, because it's like kind of having a business. It's being self-employed, actually. It's a lot of people that are doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that's not necessarily resulting into people buying homes. I mean, some people probably are paying for mortgages with the gig economy. I mean, I definitely at one time did. I mean, not a mortgage, but I had a seller financing contract for a couple of years, and I mean, basically my gig money was used for that. So I'm sure it's other people that are paying for their cost of living and their housing payments with gig economy money, or the combination of both, So where it comes into housing prices, though, people are priced out. It is definitely a lot of people that are priced out. Not everybody wants to do, not everybody is willing to go live in a grade D or grade A F neighborhood, or even have the option to do so. Like in California, a grade F neighborhood is still $1 million home. $1 million home. to live around the Crips and the Blood sets is over $1 million, $2 million homes, you know, in a heart of the hood, you know. So, you know, it's like who can afford that shit? You know what I'm saying? That's why you got so many people in California living in their cars, you know what I'm saying? Living in tents and shit, you know what I'm saying? So it is definitely an issue.
Extremely high. So these higher interest rate payments didn't mean anything. But that's actually not true. Inflation in 1985 was 3.5%. And while it was as high as 13.5% in 1980, this was consumer price index inflation, not housing inflation. The prices of houses throughout these decades actually grew at a relatively modest rate. It was everything else that was getting expensive. This is kind of the opposite of what we expect today, where house price growth outpaces inflation. But that was not the case in the 70s and the 80s. So yeah, the inflation argument isn't totally fair. So is it fair to complain about how easy it was for baby boomers to buy a house? Well, no. They still had it easy for two other big reasons. It's not what you would expect, but the higher interest rates actually kind of helped them. Saving money for a deposit in an account that pays 10% interest per year really accelerates that savings goal. Higher interest rates also ensure that house prices never got too high because the repayments would just become unaffordable. In our example from before, we were looking at interest paid on the loans from 2 time periods. But the thing with a mortgage is you've got to pay back the principal as well. Paying back the principal on a $430,000 mortgage over a standard 30-year loan term will cost an additional $14,300 per year, bringing the total annual repayment to just under $36,000. The house from 1985 would have a principal repayment of $3,000 per year, bringing the total repayment to just over $18,000 per year, half of what the 2022 home buyer would be paying, despite interest rates being 3 times higher. Put another way, if the repayments were kept equal, the person buying the home in 1985 could have it paid off in 5 years rather than 30 years. So, why am I focusing so much on housing? Well, despite being a very important part of our lives, houses are also uniquely unproductive. Real estate is kind of unique as an asset class because it doesn't produce anything of value. A house sitting on a block of land can appreciate in value and can provide a home to its owners or a rental income stream to an investor, but it doesn't make anything. Of course, there are other investments today, like cryptocurrencies, that also don't produce anything of value, but their market is minuscule next to the market for real estate around the world. Minuscule and also irrelevant. If the value of Bitcoin goes to $1 million, well, that's great for the people that invest in it, and it will have some minor knock-on impacts in other markets as people cash out to buy whatever crypto millionaires buy, but it's not going to put anybody out on the streets. Housing affordability can do that, and it can also slow the progress of entire economies. Every economy in the world is still, for better or worse,
That's worthy of a bomb drop. I mean, when I saw it. You need a place to live, though. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, everybody got to have a place to go. You know, it's why I kind of like I came up with my idea as far as my 1.5 rule. I don't think I created that. I think I found that somewhere. I'm pretty sure I found that probably somewhere. I don't think I created that as far as that's something that I created. I might have, and I might have changed it from something else. But let me go to my blog and show you the 1.5 rule. And this is not necessarily locked in stone. You know, life is all about risk. You know, it's risks involved with everything. Even this is not, you know, foolproof, but this is my 1.5 rule, my 1.5 mortgage rule, and the reason why I recommend this is because it puts you in a situation where you don't become potentially house poor to where you know getting foreclosed on and losing your house. Because here's the thing, my mother, that's what happened to her. Like, this is all financial defense, and this post to my old blog, I wrote this in 2019, so this is what the 1.5 rule is. The 1.5 rule states that your home purchase should not go over 1.5 times your yearly salary. I created this idea to help people with affordability questions, because a lot of times people end up being what is called house poor, meaning they are spending over 50% of their income on housing costs. So you make $5,000 a month, and you're spending $2,600 on housing costs, and the combination of whatever, mortgage, insurance, mortgage, taxes, whatever. You're spending over 50% of your income on housing. You're considered house poor. It ain't my definition. It's the definition of being house poor. Look it up. So, for example, if you're single and making $50,000, you would take this formula, 50,000 times 1.5, and equals $75,000. So you can afford a house that is $75,000. Loan amount is $75,000. Down payment 3%, it would be 2,250. Total loan $72,750. Now, this is a rate that is no longer in existence. This is 2019. Okay, at 3.5%, a monthly payment of $326.68 a month. All right, so let me get my calculator here and calculate. Let's just calculate 6%. Okay, because that's kind of what the rate is now, 7% and stuff like that. So let's calculate. Let's just go for 7%, which is double what this 3.5 is. So you'll take 72,750 and times 7%. Let's see here. So yeah, it will be $400.24 a month. That will be what your payment is for a $75,000 home. Now I know this is like, I know what you're thinking, all you people that live in high priced areas, like basically the East Coast, Miami, Florida, or different parts of Florida, which is still the East Coast, probably greater Atlanta metro area at this point, California, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, any place where it's booming real estate and the cost is very, very high. I know if you only make $50,000, which is a very good chance you only make that or slightly more than that, yeah, $75,000 probably ain't gonna be enough. But see, here's the thing. What I say is that you try to get at 75, look for a house that's $100,000. and try to negotiate for $75,000. Now, this only works if there is this works well if there's a housing um market that favors the buyer, which is a buyer's market. What a buyer's market means basically simply is that it is more sellers than buyers that are out there. That's all that means. A buyer's market means that it favors the buyer that's buying the home because there's more sellers that's selling homes than buyers to buy them. So what typically happens in that market is the buyer can negotiate down the price of the home because it's only a $25,000 difference. If a person is really trying to sell their home, well, you might not get them to 75. You might be able to get them to like 80 because they're trying to really sell their home. But what I think is that, in my opinion, I think that the market is headed towards a buyer's market because these interest rates are very, very high. I'm starting to see homes kind of sit on the market for a period of time and then not being sold. And I think this is going to be like something that continues. And then also, I think there's going to be an increase in inventory in housing because it's some foreclosures on the horizon from what I'm hearing. So it's going to be more inventory on the market. More inventory on the market drives prices down. Simple economics. So yeah, I mean, this is typically what you can do if possible. I know if like in a lot of areas where housing prices are high, unfortunately in those cases, you ain't got no choice but to be house poor. If you want to live in the greater Los Angeles area or Orange County, I mean, house poor it is because it ain't really no other choice because if you want to buy a house, you're going to be paying through your teeth for that house because housing prices are just so jacked up. You know, and you damn near need a you better be fucking, you know, with someone that can help you both pay the mortgage because you're gonna damn sure need it. You know, the case for I don't know, you know, I haven't been to California in a minute, but I would imagine in California people are very interested in getting coupled up. I mean, just for sheer survival. In my opinion, I don't know what it's like, but I'd imagine people are very interested into getting in a relationship with one another. I would imagine so. I mean, you know, just for a survival state, like people probably take people a little bit more serious. I don't know. In theory, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, this is let me finish this out.
Does this even matter? I don't want to get too morbid here, but people eventually die and their wealth will get transferred down to their children or some other beneficiary. So the concentration of wealth in a single generation is at worst a transient issue. I actually made an entire video last year about the Great Wealth Transfer, which is the process of the baby boomers dying and leaving their wealth behind. The problem we discovered in that video was that a lot of the wealth that is being passed down is coming in the form of private family businesses. In brief, the problem with that is that often these small businesses need the owner to continue operations, and the people that stand to inherit these businesses are either unwilling or unable to run them. Small businesses are a huge part of the economy, and losing them will do a lot of harm. Now, a glimmer of hope here is that these businesses can be sold by their inheritors to people that do have the skills and desire needed to run them. Perhaps they will sell them to people who have themselves got the money they need to buy the business from their own inheritances. The problem here is the type of people that will actually be receiving this money. Most people don't receive money from their parents passing until they are pretty old themselves, often approaching the end of their careers or starting retirement. If the money gets handed down to them, they are likely just going to use it to fund their own retirements and then just hand down whatever's left to their own elderly children. Money pooling in the hands of older people means less opportunity will be afforded to younger people to do all of the things that they do to build a functioning economy. Buying a house, getting a good job, and, starting a family so that there is a continual supply of workers to run an economy. You can't run an economy on people waiting to get old enough to finally do something with their lives. Economists call this the intergenerational wealth problem. I like to call it the Prince Charles paradox, but it is something that we are going to have to address. Things like wealth and estate taxes are commonly proposed solutions, but even if they did work, they are going to be very unpopular amongst the huge voting bloc that got us here in the first place. The final thing we've got to ask ourselves is this all the boomers' fault? I know a little bit of intergenerational bickering is all good fun, but blaming our current economic issues on a single generation is not going to be very productive. Voting in your own best interests and policies being enacted in the best interests of the majority is the foundation of democracy, and I don't think that anybody is reasonably going to argue that this is a bad thing. I think it's also very important to look at examples of economies where this has not happened. The second largest economy in the world, China, is a great counterexample. Their generational baby boomers are known locally as the lost generation because they spent most of their working life in a dysfunctional economic system. They were also too old to truly benefit from the rapid economic expansion that took place in the decades after the economy started opening up. This meant that despite still being a large portion of the population, they did not enjoy the same economic prosperity as their Western peers. Economic prosperity was also something that the boomers enjoyed that wasn't necessarily within their control. The last half of the 20th century, by historical standards, was very peaceful. The world also opened up to international trade, and growth was put into overdrive by an abundance of cheap energy in the form of fossil fuels. It was a great time to make a fortune, and people did, which is probably the final piece of the puzzle. Once people become extremely rich, and I'm talking about multimillionaires and billionaires here, they don't normally become poor again. The clump of billionaires that came from this generation will be skewing these figures to make them look worse than they really are. Remember, in a group with 1 billionaire and 999 people who are completely broke, the average member of that group is a millionaire.
That's the facts. Like, I read all of that shit about the boomers, being the wealthiest, 53% and all that. Those are the rich boomers. It's a lot of boomers that like walking around, pretty much trying to find their next hit of crack, like, or heroin shot, like, are busted. I mean, probably for every rich boomer, there's at least 10,000 that is basically living check to check. Like, it's not all boomers are fucking like, taking away and like are rich as hell and sitting on pensions and shit in retirement funds. I work with a lot of older individuals that are boomers, considered boomers. They don't have a lot of money. I mean, they're broke just like me, trying to fucking wait for their next paycheck. Like, I mean, well, not just like me. They ain't like me. Because at the end of the day, one of the things about me that's different from everybody else, well, not everybody else, a lot of people, I understood a long time ago that I don't follow everybody else. Everybody is, typically a lot of people follow the crowd. I strayed away from the crowd. Hold on, let me see who this is. Oh, yeah, that was a boomer calling me. That was my handyman. Yeah, I ain't gonna talk about what he does with his personal time, but yeah, I mean, the thing is that where even him, he's far from rich. He's so far from rich, it's beyond me. But I mean, I basically took endeavors to put myself in a situation where I can eventually get out of the trenches. Some people they basically follow the crowd. They get the mortgage, the long-term mortgage debt that comes with that. They get the short-term debt where they get car payments, like I said. And that's typically what most people do because they want some shit to look nice so they can kind of pretend like they're doing well. And the reality of my situation is that you can walk in my house and be like, definitely I'm not doing well. It appears like I'm not doing well, and it is. It's reality. Like, my situation is reality. My house is going through construction. I'm about 75% of done with my house. I got probably another 15 to 20,000 to put in my house. It looks exactly like it is. It's reality. I do not have any mortgage. I ain't put ain't no mortgage company calling me talking about, do you have a payment this month? Ain't no car payment company calling me talking about, you got a car payment? When are you going to pay your car payment? No, that's not my reality. My reality is of someone that is not conventional, that is basically just using cash to build my house up to where ultimately, eventually, it's just going to look like a regular house and, fully remodeled with no mortgage, and it's rough, getting that process. I can just briefly say the first year was a wash because I had problems. I was green. I didn't know what to really do. I mean, this is my first house that I'm really went this far as renovations and stuff like that. I mean, I'm, real in depth as far as like the things that I've already done. Maybe one day I'll read off a video of what all I've done in my house as far as renovations. But the thing is that when it comes down to it, most people don't go that route because they can't because they got children. They can't, they don't want to subject their children to live like that. And I definitely don't. And they want the finished product. They don't have time to wait and fix up a house. A lot of people don't have the cojones and the patience to, go through a housing renovation. And definitely they don't want to put up their money. They would rather use everybody would, probably, if you did a survey, people would want a loan and have somebody else's money to do certain things, and the thing is that those things have to be paid back. If you don't pay them back, you lose your investment, and you'll be, basically on the street or trying to live with somebody else, so at the end of the day, one of the guys that I work with, one of the oldest guys I work with, is about 70 years old. He has he most likely has a mortgage. He has a mortgage. He got to pay it every month, and everything that comes with the house and all of the taxes involved and everything like that. My taxes is relatively low. Have no mortgage. All I have to do is just basically pay my utilities. My life is that of someone that's kind of retired. I don't. If you talk to most people, they don't have a house that's paid off. Most typically this country, things are designed to you pay your house off after 30 years and then you retire, and then you sit in your house and then you enjoy it for as long as you can, and then you die and pass it to your house, to your children. I've already got something that I can pretty much pass on, is worth something, even in the condition it's in now. And I'm actively trying to look for some more property. I'm trying to look for another seller financing deal so I can have two properties. So, I mean, I say all of that to say, not to brag, but yeah, I'm not doing the conventional, just get some property, get a mortgage, get in debt, hope that you can pay it off, hope that you don't lose your job and you can pay it off, or hope you win the lottery. I'm not trying to operate off hopeism. I know where hopeism leads, and hopeism is a scary place to be. And what I operate on is cash and carry, and cash and carry is king, and basically it's whatever you can carry and can afford. So I mean that's enough of that. I'm gonna close this out, and I'm going to play me at least one game of chess as promised, and that's that. Yeah, I follow. One of the things I have to note also is that I follow a few people that are what I would consider financial freedom fighters. They have ascended past the trenches. They are have some type of level of financial freedom, and man, those people are the best, man. Shout out to those people, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to those individuals, man. Because the thing about it is sometimes people just, listen to people that are in the trenches, and that's fine. I have camaraderie for my trench fighters, but you want to listen to some people that's, kind of financially free as well. You want to listen to those individuals, man. I'm just saying you might want to listen to that other side, because you get a sense of more of a sense of understanding, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. So let me play a game of chess as promised. Let me get a little intermission before I want to see this. Let me play this video again. Hold on. Let me play this video again. Yeah.
Hey, boomer. Okay, boomer. Yeah, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer. Yeah, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer. Whatever you say.
Yeah. So, let's get into it. Let's play some chess, man. Yo. I'm gonna play 5 minutes because I don't know if my connection is solid. So I'm gonna play 5 minutes. Let me get some music going. All right. Let's go. Canadian. The thing about Canada is that I actually was thinking about Canada because Canada's housing prices, you thought America's housing prices is fucked up. Man, Canada got some fucked up housing prices, bro. I mean, they got like $1 million starter homes and shit like that. It is like really, really bad. It is not good. That was a bad decision. I think that was. She's my queen. Yes, sir. Finished it on out. We beat a Canadian, probably a boomer. I don't know. I ain't got I ain't got nothing against excuse me. I ain't got nothing against no boomers. I just had to put my 2 cents in. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna close this one on now. And you have a wonderful evening. Glad that you stopped in. If you want to talk about this, I got a little time. I'll put my StreamYard link in the comment section here while this is still live. You know what I'm saying? You got to comment on the boomer topic. Is boomers stopping you for financial gain? Are they stopping your steez? Are they making your life a living hell? Are they the reason why you are not living your best life? I guess I'll take that as a no. Basically. So I'll leave you with some kind outros here.
The shit's chess, it ain't checkers.